to another Fit in 3. 3 moves to energize and strengthen your body and your brain. Make sure your weights are not too heavy, that you're straining, and not too light, that you're not challenging yourself enough. Now, our first exercise, we're coming down onto our knees. We're going to be in high knee position. If you're on something a little bit hard, you might want to put a towel or a cushion underneath your knees. So we're going to start by picking the weights up. We've got the palms facing back. All right, nice and lengthened through the spine, ribs down, tummy to spine. We're going to start by drawing the weights to the shoulders, and then we're taking those weights up overhead without leaning back. So we take it down, we're keeping that pelvis upright, tailbone pulling down towards the mat, and we're making sure that we keep a connection from the rib cage to the hip bones. What we don't want is to be leaning back, okay, and lengthening those abdominal muscles. We're going 4 more. Make sure you don't overreach with the arms. We don't want those shoulders lifting. 2 more. And last one. And carefully bringing those weights down. Let's bring ourselves down. And this next one is a Russian twist. So you might just want to use one weight. Now, we've got different options. So we can keep the knees bent, we can have the legs extended, depends how you feel. You might even want to sit on a block or a cushion or something just to elevate the hips. You want to be able to sit up with a straight spine, okay? So that's difficult for you, just elevate yourself just slightly. Now, the other option is to actually have the feet lifted. So I'll go through that as we start. So we want to keep sitting up as if we're sitting up against a wall, back of the head is against that wall too. The shoulders are rolled back and down, ribs soft, tummy to spine. We're sitting on our sit bones. Now we come off the sit bones, we tuck the tailbone under, we have a little round of the spine, and we roll back to a 45-degree angle. Remember, you can have the legs extended if that's better for you. The other option is to come into balance point, just squeezing the knees together. Now, the shoulders are staying down and we are rotating from side to side. Now, the weight is staying centered to our breastbone. So what we're not doing is just taking the arms side to side. We want to feel the ribs move. We're keeping the pelvis still, tummy to spine. Check the neck feels lengthened. You're not shortening the neck muscles. We're keeping those shoulders down. That's super. Keep pulling the tummy button to your spine. Let's do one more either side. And then bring it back up and straighten up the spine. You might just want to pop the weight down and just lift the breastbone up to the ceiling. A little stretch there. Okay, let's bring ourselves all the way down onto the mat now. We need both weights. So we're going to have our feet and knees hip distance apart. We're going to have our pelvis absolutely flat. So I want you to make sure your pelvis isn't tipping forward, so you've got a big gap. And I want you to make sure it's not imprinted either, so the whole of the spine is on the mat. We want the pelvis lying absolutely flat. So if you can imagine you've just got a blueberry underneath your lower back. We're not going to squish it, we're not going to let it roll away. So the pelvis is flat. You might also imagine you've got a glass of water sitting on your pelvis. We don't want that to move. Now, we're going to take our weights, we've got the palms facing forward. Sink your shoulder blades onto the floor. So I want you to make sure you can feel the shoulder blades and the back of the rib cage on the mat. We don't want to be rounded forward, the shoulders by the ears. So shoulder blades, back of the ribs are on the mat. The tummy is drawing to spine. Imagine you've got these elastic bands just connecting the ribs to your hip bones. We're then taking the weights to the side and then we press back up again. But we are keeping the shoulder blades on the floor and we're keeping the back of the rib cage on the floor. Remember the pelvis, it's not moving. We're keeping it absolutely flat. Well done. Keeping that neck lengthened. That's super. Okay, 2 more. Remember working the abdominals as well. And then gently bring it down. That's lovely. And we'll bring ourselves up. And you can just do some nice little shoulder rolls. Taking the hands behind, just lift the breastbone up, mindful not to tip the head too far back. And then just release back down. And there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next time.